Hey guys, I'm Raman, and today I'm going to giving you my top 5 GeoGuessr tips for the newest of GeoGuessr players. So those of which who have not touched the game at all maybe, or have only played like a few games. Maybe like just like the free daily games I think they give you. So let's get right into it. So first off, I'm going to be talking about Google Street View coverage. So on Google Street View, there's a limited amount of countries that are covered since due to safety reasons and privacy reasons. So up to a certain point, Germany didn't actually have Google Street View coverage because they had privacy issues, but now they have coverage now. So if you use this little yellow icon, as you can see with my mouse, if you drag it to anywhere, you can see all these blue lines are places with coverage. Some of these are not actually Google Street View coverage, so like Namibia also doesn't have coverage, but you see these blue lines because it's filmed by like a company, I think it's Map Your Town, which isn't real Google Street View, but yeah. So most of these lines though are countries with Google Street View. So as you can see, there's not many in these countries, such as like the Sahara. They don't film there. But there are countries such as Kenya, Nigeria, Senegal, Uganda, and South Africa that are actually covered. As you can see, most of South America is covered, besides the countries over here, which are like Suriname, Guyana, French Guiana, Venezuela, and Paraguay, which is completely left alone. And as you can see in Asia, Japan is mostly, the whole thing is covered. Russia has a lot of coverage, but obviously not in these north parts. Let me get rid of this for a second. Oh, shoot, did not mean to do that. And yeah, so these blue areas are places with Google Street View coverage, and you can also search it up, but it won't be as recent because they added Oman as well as Kazakhstan, a few other countries that are not currently. So if we look at Google Street View coverage, you can see that this is like pretty new, but not like that new. So look, okay. For example, oh, and actually this map is pretty recent though. You can see the blue lines, there's actually coverage in Oman now. So this is actually a pretty recent map, and there's coverage in Kazakhstan, I believe. Yes. So yeah, so that's a pretty new map. You can also look at some maps like these. This is a good map too, except this is not as recent because Oman's not covered and Kazakhstan's not covered. So yeah, you can always just use the man though. Drag the man, as you can see, places with Google Street View, and you can play around with it. So let's go in Oman. Let's go in Salalah. And you can see it's Google Street View, and you can see this says Google Street View because it says Google Street View. And these are places that are actually covered by Google Street View. So let's say you want to drop yourself in Namibia, which does not have Google Street View. You drop yourself in the capital, Windhoek, and it's by Map Your Town, not Google Street View, so you know this place does not have Google Street View. You can also look up like on Wikipedia, I think, countries with Google Street View, and I'm sure it'll come up here. Yep. It'll show the newest. This is like the date. So let's see if we can see most recent ones, which should be like Oman. We can just use 2025 or 2024. See, they can add. Look, we're here. Oh, they also added Liechtenstein. Yeah, I forgot to say about that. But these are Oman, look, cities, the most recent. And yeah, so you can always look on Wikipedia for that and use the drag and drop thing, like I said before. All right, next up. My second tip is using the compass or sun position. So I'm gonna show this by just going on around. So let's play. This is just a map I like playing on. Alright, so we start off, and this is a pretty nice location because you can see the sun pretty well. Alright, so my tip for you guys is even if you don't see the sun directly, you can see what the brightest part is. So in this case, it's like over here or over here. I'd say it's more a little here. It's a little bit bright over here. So based on that, we can see that the compass is facing to the south. You can see here these two lines are matching up with the south. If it's southwest or southeast, it's basically also applies the same thing. And if it's in the south, the thing is to remember that if it's the compass is facing the south, you're in the northern hemisphere, so above this equator. So in this case, it actually works because I already know this is Philippines, the concrete road, but I'm not going to talk about this. This is a little bit too advanced. So yeah, this should be the Philippines. And a way you can narrow down, obviously, a bunch of countries just by knowing what hemisphere you're in. So either northern or southern hemisphere. In this case, we're going to be in the northern hemisphere because the sun appears to be facing the south. And if we use a regular compass, you can change your settings here. I can change this to classic, and this will give you the red and blue compass. So in this case, the white is pointing to the south, and the red is pointing to the north. So now I'm facing the north, now I'm facing the south, and the sun is facing the south, so we're in the northern hemisphere. So yeah. So I think I'm pretty safe to click Philippines here, especially because they're the concrete road. And if I were to guess, there's palm trees, so I'd guess like southern, I don't know, somewhere here. Okay, close enough. Alright, so we do another round to quickly show it. Let's see if we can get closer to the sun. This is a bad. It's like bad. Oh, that was a good image. Right here. So let's put. I like using the other compass, so let's use modern again. So you can see it's pointing directly southeast, basically. So you know you're gonna be in the northern hemisphere. So that already eliminates all these countries down here. So and if the sun were, if this said northeast, then obviously it would be the opposite. So you'd be in the southern hemisphere. And usually countries are like such as Argentina, South Africa, Australia. You'll see it in the southern hemisphere. So yeah, I'm gonna quickly guess the country. It's definitely Europe somewhere. In my opinion, this looks like Germany or Netherlands. I'm not really entirely sure, but I'm gonna go Germany. It was Netherlands. But yeah, you already saw another way of that's being used. Alright, so let's go on to the next tip. Alright, so my third tip is the driving side. So you can, if you search up, you can see which countries drive on the left and which countries drive on the right. Left versus the right. You can see that majority of countries drive on the right. All the countries in red drive on the right, while all the countries in the left, all the countries in blue drive on the left. So majority of East Africa and South Africa drive on the blue, drive on the left. So countries such as Australia, New Zealand, previously British colonies, which was why Britain also drives on the left, India, Pakistan, Indonesia, Malaysia, all these countries had some relation to Britain, so I guess they drive on the left too. So yeah, you can see all these countries are highlighted in blue are countries that drive on the left-hand side of the road. So let's see if we can use that here. Sorry, wrong one. Alright, so here we don't really see many cars, so it's kind of hard to tell, but this only obviously applies for when you have cars. Let's try to find a different round. So I know this is Brazil. I'm not gonna go into depth about that. Let's see if we can find a round where we should have cars. Yep. So here it looks fine. Okay, so you see the cars are parked on the left side of the road, meaning you're gonna be driving on the right. Look, see this car is also parked on the left, but it's facing us, so that means we would also be driving on the right because we're going through here. These are parked on the left, these are parked on the left. Like if we go, let's quickly go over here. Now you see this looks like it's parked on the left. And we're driving to the right. This is also parked on the left. And these are parked on the left too. So yeah, so that's a quick way to tell where you are because some countries drive on the left, some countries drive on the right. And using your knowledge on Google Street View, you can also easily tell. So like here, I mean, I'm not going to go into too much depth, but we're driving on the right. That eliminates like most of Africa, most of bottom Africa. And I guess Australia. That's not right-hand driving is not usually too helpful, but if it's on the left, if they're driving on the left, it's pretty helpful. So I can tell from here we're probably in Italy. We have double blue on the license plate, so it's safe to go Italy. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna quickly show you guys around where they're driving on the left. So let me just find let's say South Africa. South Africa drives on the left, and I'll show you what that looks like in case you don't know. So right here. This bad around. Let me just quickly find one with cars. This method usually only works when there's cars around. Yep. So here, you can already see this car is facing this way, and that means this is the left-hand side of the road. So they're gonna be driving on the left. So that's a quick and easy way to tell that which country you're in because a lot of countries on Google Street View drive on the right, and only a few drive on the left. So such as South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, Indonesia, Malaysia, etc. So yeah. So that's my third tip. All right. So the fourth tip is green versus yellow areas. So this is kind of most people, I wouldn't say it's kind of difficult to understand, but if you notice on Google Maps, some areas are more whiter than others. So like Russia's like really green. And these areas are pretty white. So for example, if you look at let's say Kansas, you don't look on the left side, it's probably gonna be mostly dry. It's a bit dry. Like you see the road, this part of the road, it's quite dry. I know this method doesn't work all the time, but if you were in like Mexico, it's like you know this area is pretty dry. Yeah, like look here, like everything looks like kind of desolate. So that's also an easy way to tell where you are because most likely if you're in like a very dry area, you're probably gonna be somewhere in one of these yellow spots on the map. And most spots of the map are like green. Of course, I told you that this doesn't always work, but if you know the country, I guess it's pretty helpful too. So yeah, so let's say you were in Africa. Senegal is mostly white, only a few areas in the bottom are green. So let's say we drive here, everything's desert. Look, it's like sand everywhere. That's also an easy way to know that you're in one of these regions. I don't think I hear people talking about this a lot, but I think it's somewhat helpful to newer players, I'd say. All right. what next. So, oh, the smiley face. Okay. So this last one, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but it's just to practice. So one of the ways I got better at GeoGuessr is just by playing with better players, and I suggest you do the same. But in case you don't want to do that, you can just practice on your own time by playing duels or this map that I like playing on, by Wolf Checker. So I just like play a few rounds, and I kind of just get used to like vibe guessing, which is just like guessing based on like I usually play no moving paintings, meaning this is the first image I get and I can't move anywhere. So just by this, I can see that like I'll give you some depth onto my rounds. So you can see there's hills, like a bunch of mountains. We have yellow road lines are also quite important, but they're kind of hard to remember. So I wouldn't say do that as a beginner, but you should try to learn them as you go on. So here we see that we have yellow road lines on the side, so I immediately know that's going to be in South Africa. It's just kind of like something I remember. So we're going to be South Africa. Let's see here. So next round, we appear to be in Greece or Croatia, I think. And I'm just saying that based off of like the rockiness. Like you see all these rocks over here. It's very rocky, and also the road is usually like this kind of color. It's like this, I don't know how to describe it, like white grayish color with nothing else on the side. And we have huge mountains, which is quite common in especially South Croatia and like near Greece area. So I'd say it's either Greece or Croatia. It could be like maybe Spain or something, but yeah, it was Greece. So alright, here, this just looks like India to me. India, also knowing the generation of the cameras can help. Like in this case, I think we're in Gen 2, I believe, Gen 2 or 3. Because you can tell because the quality of the camera looks like terrible. You can't see anything. I mean, you can see stuff, but it's like, it looks really low quality compared to other new Google Street View. So I just go ahead and go India, maybe like Uttar Pradesh, I don't know. Yeah, it was, I don't know, what is this? Chhattisgarh. Yeah. So let's go on the next round. What is this? Okay, well, like I said earlier, 2 blues, 1 on here, 1 on here. It just immediately means France or Italy, and just by the language, we can tell which one we're. Everything that ends in E, probably something we're in France. Exactly. So, also want to mention that's an important thing to know. Okay, this is Brazil, palm trees, orange, really red dirt, red or orange dirt, mountains, palm trees. I don't know, somewhere like Marinha. It was Tocantins, but it was pretty close. So yeah, that's like just a round I played. This is just, I get better by playing. And you can do the same. You can just play rounds. You need Pro, obviously. GeoGuessr Pro, I don't know how much it costs right now, but you can go check it out yourself. And just keep playing the game, or play with better players, and they'll give you tips. And you'll get better at the game over time. So those are my tips for you. Here are 2 videos I got like inspiration from. So these are by Zigzag and Rainbow. Pretty well-known GeoGuessr creators in the community. I'd say Zigzags is a little bit better just for newer players because it goes more into depth about some of the things I mentioned, such as official coverage, Google Street View coverage. But these are like specific countries, which sometimes people won't be able to remember. So I just wanted to go the most general knowledge for newer players. And this one is like for like a lot better GeoGuessr players. So these are tips like for specific countries and different continents. He orders it by continent, I think. So yeah, you can look at these videos if you want. You can see them right here. You can see the title, so if you want to Google them, you can. So yeah, that's basically what I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something from this video, and if not, well, I'm sorry, but thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.